Welcome to Meldon Law and Friends. I'm Jeffrey Meldon, welcoming you to a special edition of Law Talk Live with my good friend Buddy Martin. For those of you that don't know Buddy, he's a veteran Florida-born raised journalist from Ocala. Buddy's won more than 165 awards during his illustrious career. He authored Steve Spurrier's best-selling autobiography, Head Ball Coach, Urban Meyer's official biography. He's written biographies with Terry Bradshaw, Dan Issel. For those of you that don't know, he was a great basketball player called Parting Shots. And Buddy is a product of University of Florida Journalism School, which he attended from 1956 to 1961. A former sports editor for the Florida Today, the St. Pete Times, New York Daily News, and the Denver Post. He's won Emmys to help as a producer for the NFL Today Show and lots of other stuff. And my favorite happens to be GatorBaitMedia.com. Now, GatorBait, I get all the lowdown. On what's going on as far as Gator sports and the coverage between Buddy, France Beard, and all the other writers is just amazing. So thank you and welcome to the show, Buddy.
Thank you for that wonderful introduction. I appreciate that. And you read that bio, and I'm thinking, I just couldn't hold a job as long as I had to keep moving around. Good to be with you. This is not my first time on your podcast. I know you've got a long-running show here. Good to be with you tonight, and look forward to our time together and see the HBC. And I'm, very, very excited about this basketball team, as you are.
Yeah.
We've had some secret conversations about the basketball team. Now, Jeffrey's on my show every month for a couple of spots, and he's kind of had a sneaking suspicion this team is going to be special. He has kind of an inside track there, and I won't say who it is. But anyway, so what a game against UConn. What a season. And, boy, it's sure fun to see a winning team, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, you know what? The Gator Nation needs some juice. And, look, we actually have winning programs all around us at the University of Florida. You know, I mean, gymnastics, softball, last year's baseball team. Our football team finished on the rise this year. Track and field, swimming. I mean, there's winning programs all over. However, football and basketball are the big dogs.
They are. And someone said this morning, I was telling Shane Matthews, we talked about what constitutes the everything school. You know, whether you want to talk about grades or placement of where you are. And pretty much if you won national championships, forget those wonderful track teams, all that stuff, but in the big three, football, basketball, and baseball, not many schools can say that. So you have a right to be proud of your school, and Florida is my school, and you can brag a little bit. Now, this is a huge one. That UConn game, that was white knuckle all the way, I'm telling you.
Yeah, well, you know what? They won that game in spite of the fact that they were off. They missed 12 free throws in the first half, right? A team that normally shoots between 73 and 75% of their free throws were off. In spite of that, they beat the two-time national defending champion in basketball.
Correct, and you're absolutely right about that. And there's an old saying in baseball, when the pitcher goes out there and can't get his curveball to break and his fastball is off, but they somehow win anyway, they say you win without having your best stuff, and that's what happened against UConn.
Yeah.
Without their best stuff.
Well, I don't know if I told you, but Patricia and I are flying out to San Francisco tomorrow.
Get out of here.
Okay.
All right.
I used up all my points from my Visa card and my Marriott Bonvoy, and got us tickets and got us a room there in San Francisco.
Well, you take care of Franz Beard. In case he gets in jail, he might need your help getting out.
Well, I'm going to definitely take care of Franz because he's a good friend. And I'll tell you, you know, you're the best writer, but Franz is getting to be a close second.
Franz is a very good writer. He's got a long list. He's been doing this for a few years. He has some great mentors He's worked with some great departments. He's a very good storyteller. He's about as good a basketball writer as he's good at football. But basketball, I don't know anybody better than France.
No, he tells the story. So those of you that haven't checked out the Gator Bait
Media.com.
GatorBaitMedia.com. I call it Gator Bait, but every morning, every day, sometimes twice a day, I get these incredible, well-written articles, whether it's the basketball team, the football team, baseball, covers all the Gator sports, the women's sports, gymnastics, the softball team, basketball team, and it's really exciting because the quality of the writing. So I want to congratulate you because whether it's 12 midnight or 6 in the morning, I get these news flashes from y'all, and I read every single article
and
you guys
publish. That means
publish.
a lot to us as writers, and you do. I know because you comment on things that most people would miss, and when you make that statement, it goes right to the heart of writers who are hoping people understand what they're trying to say, right, and appreciate the effort that goes into them. And to say that you notice that means the world to us.
Well, thank you. Let's talk a little bit about this basketball team.
Okay.
The team has been a work in progress for 3 years. And all of a sudden, now we're really good.
Right.
Maybe that's the coach.
Might be Coach Spurrier calling in. I thought
Coach.
I heard it all. Sorry about that.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Anyhow, let's talk about how this team evolved in the last 3 years when Todd Golden took over the Gator basketball program. I'm interested in your perspective on how the secret sauce was made.
That's a fascinating question because, last year they knew they were lacking in defense. They didn't go crazy in the transfer portal and go grab everybody, but to get the quality of players they've got, 10 deep, they can rotate 10 people, and they got 5 really good guards, and their bigs are as good as anybody in the country as a group. And, of course, Walter Clayton Jr. is special. But don't forget, in that game, late in the game, when things were not going right, there was something missing somehow. First of all, Walter Clayton stepped up and knocked down those big, huge threes. But the play goes to my mind is a rebound by Elijah Martin when they missed 2 foul shots.
That was insane.
He went up there fiercely. He was getting that ball, and he put it back in. That really was. And later on, Todd said that and the rebound. They were the things that turned the game. So, and you got guys that can beat you a lot of different ways. I love their players. They're so much fun to watch, and I love them watching the fast break, handling the ball. But watching Walter Clayton is like poetry in motion, And my friend Shane Matthews has said he's the best Gator basketball player he's ever seen. He's been saying that a while, and he's got the record to prove it now. Consensus All-American, and boy, he's made a big difference. That team as a whole, they love each other. They play for each other. They're unselfish. They don't care who gets the glory. Todd does a wonderful job with them, the way he's coached them up. I love that he punched the whiteboard at halftime of the night. I thought he can sell those, Jeffrey. Make Todd's punchable whiteboards, and every Gator fan that gets frustrated at home can go, pow, right through that, make a lot of money on this thing. But it's marvelous, and he's not among the top 50% paid guys, coaches in basketball, but he will be soon.
So what do you think he did starting in year one that led us to where the team is now?
I think roster building. You've got to build a roster, not just go get a bunch of players out of the transfer portal. You've got to know the pieces that you need. He knew the pieces that he needed. And one by one, he built this beautiful team and got them playing together on the same page. I've never seen a team with this many bigs that can run the court so well, pass and shoot. They're amazing. I mean, it's fun to watch. He knew his evaluations were spot on. I mean,
because he wasn't recruiting 5-star recruits
no,
that everybody.
They're all a bunch of threes.
Yeah. I mean, how does a coach spot players? He brings in Condon from Perth, Australia.
I love Condon. I love Condon.
The thing I love about Condon is he played a lot of Australian football,
in there.
Rugby.
Put that nose in there.
Yeah. And you saw it actually in the game, where nobody wants to pick a fight with Alex Condon because
he's a tough guy.
Tough guy, yeah. And then Elijah Martin, you were talking about defense.
Physical, big football player.
Man. And he has Final Four experience.
Yes, he does.
And I think some of that has started to rub off,
yeah.
On the players. It's like, Walt Clayton is amazing.
Mm-hmm.
First All-American we've ever had in basketball.
Yeah, and Richard, of course, is a heck of a player, too. So, and you even take some of their subs. Klobjar comes off the bench. Who is this dude? Goes in, knocks down threes, plays belly button defense. There's no drop off from the bench.
Denzel, Aberdeen.
Denzel's got one of my favorite names. First of all, Denzel Aberdeen. He's been one of my favorite players for a long time. He can defend, he can shoot, he can pass. He runs the break. I really love that kid. They're lucky they got him. They held on to him when he could have started for most teams. They held on and look now. Next year is his team.
Yeah, well, not only that, I've seen him develop. He was a little bit wild his first couple of years as far as controlling the ball. Mm-hmm. He would dribble, and not pass. This year, I think he's learned more about passing and his shooting.
Who's your favorite player?
Well, I would say Walt Clayton is favorite. I've been lucky to be able to fly with the Gator basketball team, and they call him Walt, but Walter Clayton Jr. I took my grandson with the team to South Carolina, and during the shoot around the day before, I had bought a shirt for my grandson Noah, and it was right around the corner here at the Academy sports shop on Archer Road, and it had number 1 on it, right? So he took it with him along with a basketball, and I brought my ball that the team had given us for one of the games. And during the shoot around, he took the jersey over to Walt, and Walt sat there for about 5 minutes with my grandson, and he carefully wrote his name out right where the number 1 is on the shirt with his number, and spent a few minutes talking with him. And he's a stand-up guy, and it's going to serve him well because the pro scouts look at him and they understand his leadership and his intensity and his focus, and that it will rub off on other members of the team.
He's going to play in the league, that's for sure. Maybe a long time.
Yeah, I mean, well, he certainly could. I mean, he has such a quick release when he shoots.
What an eye. Those last few buckets of his in that game, man, I'm telling you, he took shots where most people wouldn't get them off, let alone make them.
I know, and he was guarded closely, right?
He was.
They're going, the only thing we have to do is stop Walter Clayton Jr.
Yeah.
You got to stop him, and then we're going to win the game.
Easier said than done.
Easier said than done.
Yeah.
So as far as building, I like this idea of building a team because whether you're talking about high school sports, college sports, pro sports, I think having an eye for talent and figuring out which talent you want to bring in and then molding it into a team is not easy to do.
No, it's not.
You've been around sports for 65, 70 years or however long, a long time. So let's talk about that. What are there some other examples of coaches that you really admire for their ability to do that?
Well, let me just put it about life in general. We could talk about Coach Spurrier or whatever, but there's a couple of things. First of all, you have to have an eye for talent. You know a good lawyer when you see one, right?
I do.
And I'm sure you have your own set of rules for guys that come to work for you. That you got to do the following things. Not a lot, but at least you got to do these things. And then if they pass the test there, you expect them to show up and do what they're asked or paid to do with consistency. And know you can count on them. In turn, you have to let them know you believe in them. Steve Spurrier's big success, I think, is because he believed in these players at a time when they didn't believe in themselves. Shane Matthews, he literally was the sixth or seventh string, and I was there when they got him. He believed in him, and I think that's true with a lot of his quarterbacks and his players. I was watching one of the old videos here today of Steve being interviewed about his Duke team. His Duke team was 1-3-1 when he was being asked about coming to coach at Florida. Thinking, my gosh, what are we going to do here? We got to get this record up. He went out and played Clemson, nationally ranked, might have been one, I'm not sure. This little Duke team, and that day, all kinds of players showed up and played better than they thought they could play. Their running back was crazy. These guys that he had on the squad that he believed in showed their belief in him. When they beat Clemson, and Steve will tell you, if they don't beat Clemson, he probably doesn't get the Florida job.
Yeah. I think that that raised his stock just so much, and that the head ball coach, he is the only coach I think in the NCAA football that has the most wins both at Florida and South Carolina.
Well, and also he's in the Hall of Fame as a player and a coach.
Yeah, he won the Heisman Trophy, coached the Heisman Trophy winner, and coached the national championship. We got to know his story, right? Yeah. I mean, there's so much that. Well, not only that, when you come here to Spurrier's restaurant, Spurrier's Gridiron Grill, you see the attention to detail, and how. The accolades that he accomplished, and thank God for Jerry saving all this stuff.
Absolutely.
Right?
And the ball plays on bathroom walls. That's one of my favorite things here.
Yeah.
It's, I'm telling you, Freddie Weeby has done an incredible job here.
Yeah.
Talk about putting a team together and building a roster. What he's done has been one of the great American business stories. And kudos to Freddie for what he's done.
Yeah. So I'm up at Atlanta at a legal conference with Freddie, and Nick Saban was the keynote speaker. This is about 4 months ago, right? And so we got in the VIP line to shake hands with him and get our picture taken. And I, shake hands, say hello, and then Freddie's behind me, and he says, he introduces himself, I'm the managing partner at Spurrier's Restaurant. And he said, "You're the restaurant guy, okay?"
Yeah.
Now, the backstory is that Nick Saban wants Freddie Weeby to open up a place like Spurrier's in Tuscaloosa.
I'm sure he
okay?
does.
And
very much in demand.
Yeah, and that so does Urban Meyer would like one up in Ohio State and everywhere.
But you don't understand what goes into this. It's not luck. He spent $1 million in promotion on this restaurant before it started. He researched every detail. He knew everything people like to eat in the area. He has incredible research. He's a tireless worker, and I think this may still be the number one sports celebrity restaurant in America.
I think so. I mean, Freddie went to 50 different sports restaurants around the United States to meet.
I went out to Denver. I sent him to Elway's place in Denver. Yeah. Had a tour with a friend of mine out there. He did his homework, man. He really did.
Well, and what he wanted to find out is what made the restaurants succeed and what made some of them fail. Because most restaurants fail, and most sports restaurants have a short life. However, here at Spurrier's Gridiron Grill, it's only building because not only do they have an incredible restaurant with a fabulous museum, but they also have attention to detail on the food. The food here is the best.
Really good. And I'll tell you something else. University of Florida ought to get down on their hands and knees and say thank you every day, because this is like a huge tool for them. To be able to come here with recruits. I mean, think about it. They're really blessed to have this here. They have no money invested in it, and they get to take advantage of it. And what a thing to say for a kid to bring his parents here and say, I was at Steve Spurrier's restaurant last night being recruited by the Florida Gators.
Well, it's great. it's actually the grandparents that come with some of the recruits, right?
Our age.
All right. Well, they know who Steve Spurrier is.
Oh, yeah.
The kids kind of may have heard the name, but they don't really know who who's
Exactly.
who the head ball coach is. When the grandparents come, right?
That's right.
And they're sitting out here in the restaurant. And Steve comes in and does his little close, at the end of the dinner or whenever. And a couple of years ago, I think, 3 of the recruits, one stood up and said, "I'm in, coach," and another one stood up and said, "I'm in, coach."
Yeah.
And I think
you get to see that behind the scenes stuff. We don't get to see that, but
that's pretty cool.
Very cool.
So. Let's talk a little bit about Gator football and where you think it's headed.
I'm just going to say we haven't talked much about it. Well, I think the only curveball we got was the news of the injury to DJ Lagway. Now, I don't want to make too much of that, but I didn't see that coming. They would hold him out of spring practice. I hope it's not going to affect his timing on the receivers. I asked Coach Spurrier about this. He should be able to overcome that. But to have a spring practice and not be able to have your quarterback throw, especially with this outstanding group of receivers, they've got some unbelievably talented young receivers. I mean, they're really good, and you're going to be seeing them play. And Lagway, of course, is extraordinary. We saw what he could do last year, and this football team has got it right there in front of them. This is the year they could make the playoffs. And their defense is better. I like the changes they've made on defense. Looks like they finally got their coordinator, and they got some really quality players. Now, depth-wise, could they compete at that next level, with the Alabamas and the Georgias and whatever? We'll see. But, there's an old Louis Grizzard saying, the sun don't shine on the same dog's ass every day. And Georgia is not going to be there forever. You see the trouble they're having. You're an attorney. You know what goes on. And you see there's a disregard for something, respect or something, because it's almost every day another Georgia Bulldog is pulled over and given the DUI. Now, look, it happens. I know this is something that's
during our award-winning run with Urban, we had a few little incidents here and there.
But you know what? I wrote that book, and I counted every one of those incidents and he came out with it. And I remember there was up to 20 at one time. But people forget, and I researched it. At that point, I believe Georgia had more. But nobody talked about it.
Because they weren't the national champ.
Yeah, exactly. So they wanted I mean, look, you can always use the Aaron Hernandez story as an example. But the truth is, when Aaron Hernandez came here, he wasn't a troublemaker. And I know the guy who worked with him and handled him, he hung with the Pouncey twins. His story is a sad story because he was a great football player and apparently not a bad kid at one time. He got CTE, brain injury, really bad. That made it worse. Now, he was borderline. Urban did everything he could. People think, we'll just come play for you, don't worry. No, he would have Aaron Hernandez in his office in the morning with Bible study. He tried really. But the worst thing that happened to Aaron Hernandez was he got drafted by the New England Patriots. He went home to his old homeboys and got right back in trouble, and his life became obliterated. He still was a great player with the Patriots. So, I mean, yeah, it happens. You're going to have a bad egg here and there, and certainly that was one of them. But I think it was a misnomer. I was having a conversation with my stepson on the way up here. The people who talk about Urban, who think they know something. Now, let me just say this. I don't know everything. I knew a lot. I was working on his book at the time. I knew a lot. And I know a lot. And I've had friends to this day who won't speak to me, and we don't speak because they say, Urban Meyer had this all planned out. He was never sick. That is, I'm sorry, BS. I know for a fact he was sick. I know for a fact he thought he might be dying at one point in time. How can they make a judgment, something like that? Now, should Urban have left? Yeah, he should have gone ahead and let him not come back after that last season. But the fact is, my gosh, he's got to be in the Ring of Honor. I mean, the guy won 2 national championships here. Are you kidding me? One of the great coaches in college football. He can't make the Ring of Honor in Florida? Come on, folks. Let's get that straightened out.
Well, look, I'm on Urban's side. I have a bunch of whiner friends of mine.
Would you say whiner or whiner?
They were whining.
You have both of them. Whiners also. I've been to your house. I know.
Yeah, they're whiner. They drink wine and they're whiners. But anyhow, no, they were like jilted by a girlfriend, right? When he left here because he had brought the program to heights. It was 4 straight years, really, 06, 07, 08, and 09. I mean, I was there for the SEC championship game in 09, and I think that's what was the turning point for Urban when Nick Saban was able to upset the apple cart at an undefeated Florida team that was favored to win.
And the year before, because Urban had beat his socks off in the championship game, and from that day forward, Nick Saban said, no more. For 355 days, all he thought about was beating Florida. That game was on everybody's mind. Everything practiced. You're right, and that did happen. But I mean, look, he came this far from being the coach. If he wins the last Alabama game, he's the Nick Saban.
Right. You're absolutely
think about
right.
That close to it. So
yeah.
You tell me you can't make your Ring of Honor public? Come on, folks.
Well, I think the Ring of Honor should be reserved for our greatest coaches and our greatest athletes, and he was our greatest coach because, except for Spurrier, because he brought home 2 national championships and a Heisman Trophy winner with Tim Tebow, and I respect the hell out of Urban Meyer.
I'm with you on that.
But anyhow, and I graduated from Ohio State. So
she didn't mean that, folks.
So
I went to school in Ohio. I didn't mean to say that.
Well, no, it gave me good upbringing. So when I moved to Florida, I'm there with Woody Hayes, right?
Yeah, oh yeah. I've seen the statue. I've been there at the Horseshoe.
And hey, I walked in as a freshman into the business school, right? And they had this running back, Matt Snell, who wound up with the New York
player of the Jets.
The Jets, okay? He had like a 28-inch neck. I never saw a neck like that before in my life. And then I saw Jack Nicklaus, Jerry Lucas, John Havlicek, Bobby Knight was there, Mel Knoll was there, Larry Siegfried was there. And Tom Weiskopf was the other kid on the golf team, right? So
Jack was a catcher in baseball. Nicholas was pretty good one too. Do you know what Jerry Lucas, the most famous thing Jerry Lucas ever did?
What's that?
Memorize the New York City phone book.
What?
Every name. He could repeat every name in the New York City phone book.
Now that's
what that gets you, I don't know, but I mean that's amazing.
Yeah, no, that's Middleton, Ohio.
Pretty
Jerry
good basketball
Lucas,
player.
pretty good. People, may not remember who Jerry Lucas was, but he had to battle Oscar Robinson from Cincinnati, right?
Who averaged a triple-double, by the way.
Yeah,
Oscar Robinson.
but do you know that Oscar Robinson never won a national championship with Cincinnati?
It's amazing, isn't
They
it?
won. They won after he left.
Yeah.
And Lucas and Havlicek won a national championship, but then they didn't win the next year.
Who was the guy on that team that later became the Army coach?
Bobby Knight. Yeah. No, Bobby Knight was. So I'm a freshman at Ohio State walking into the business school, and all these characters are in there. And I'm like, I knew who they were, right? And I'm going like, wow. I got a chance to watch USC play Ohio State and sit next to Jack Nicklaus for the entire game.
Love Jack Nicklaus.
And what a remarkable individual.
All-time favorite athlete, Jack Nicklaus. I love Jack Nicklaus.
And everything he did, he stood, he still stands for quality and character. And, he really has, impressed me. He came, I think he played at Scioto Country Club.
Yes, his dad was a pharmacist.
His dad was a pharmacist there. But we all knew who Jack was, and that, he, do you know, interesting story? He's in his last semester at Ohio State, and this comes from his own mouth. This is what he told me. he said he went to the dean of the business school and said, I have an opportunity to go play golf in Australia, okay, for the Australian Open. And I'd like to work remotely in some way and make up for classes. He was a diligent student and all that. And the dean did not give him permission. Nicholas went to Australia, and that's how he started his pro career. And he had never graduated from Ohio State.
I know about those things.
You know, yeah, that's our next project.
They have a happy ending. Yeah.
Yes, yeah. So anyhow, getting back to Gator football, look, I'm optimistic. If I have a 5-star quarterback talent and he's dinged up, why would I play him in spring practice? You know, I mean,
It's okay. It would have been great if you could throw these it's the young receivers I'm concerned
yeah,
about.
but look, these young receivers, they're going to have plenty of practices before. It's great to have spring practice.
Right.
You know, look, I'm protecting my gold. And I'm not going to expose him just so the young receivers can, get up to speed. Those young receivers will have a quality quarterback throwing to them. They'll have quality defenders on them. They'll get the knack of, okay, this isn't high school anymore, and I think that we're going to be fine.
And they got a Spurrier on the coaching staff there now too. Bubba.
I know, Bubba.
Working with the quarterbacks.
Yes, and I think that's so exciting. I talked with him a little bit a few weeks ago, and he's really, pumped up. And, what better place to come? His kids are going to school here, having a great time.
You think Jerry Spurrier's happy right now?
I think so. But, it's really wonderful. So, anyhow, are there any other thoughts that you have before we wrap up? I want to plug again Gator Bait.
Thank you.
GatorBaitMedia.com.
Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah.
So those of you that aren't subscribing to it, you are missing a great opportunity to enhance your life with meaningful, well-written content. I read lots of, we're inundated with reports, but sports reporting, but very, very few writers have the compelling content that Gator Bait does, and I think that it's a tribute to your long-standing career as a great sports writer and the crew you've put together.
Thank you. I do want to say one other thing. I want to publicly thank you for the force you've been for this community and of this school for the Gators. You've done one of the best things ever happened to the Florida Gators. Your support of all the programs you sponsor, being the official Meldon Law Firm in Florida, and just being there all the time and being excited about it. And your enthusiasm. I see you around. I see that. And I have you on the show, as you know. I would like to thank you publicly for everything you do for the University of Florida and for the Florida Gators. Jeffrey Meldon, thank you.
Well, thank you very much. It's a privilege and an honor to be associated with the University of Florida Athletic Department. And by the way, I'm having a blast. I get to go to all these fun.
Oh, yeah, he's a kid again. He's a kid again.
Yeah, it's like I'm a kid in a candy shop. So my message to everybody out there, after you subscribe to Gator Bait magazine,
Come to the Spurriers.
Yeah, come to Spurriers, but go to the Gator events, not just football. Football's great. We love it. It's a spectacle. It's the big kahuna. It drives the revenues. We love football. However, if you live in North Central Florida and you're not going to, basketball and baseball, softball, track. I mean, there's so much. The lady gymnasts just this past week scored the highest score ever in NCAA history on the uneven bars.
Wow.
Okay. Nobody had ever scored as high as they did. They had
Right.
2 perfect 10s.
You're right.
And
They're not giving 10s anymore. They're giving them.
Yeah, and so you have Olympic caliber athletes all through the track, the swimming, the gymnastics, the softball. All of these programs, the women's programs, are great. Meldon Law is actually getting behind women's basketball because it's the marquee sport for women, and we really.
Kelly Ray is a good coach.
Yeah, Kelly Ray Finley is a great coach, had a big win last weekend. They're coming back this coming Thursday and playing at home for another win. Kelly Ray's due in like 3 days after that game.
Yeah.
She's having
Big
a baby.
event. Yeah.
And I admire her so much for what she's doing. So one of our missions at Meldon Law is going to be to help build the women's basketball program. We've got 3 McDonald All-Americans on the team, and there's some great players coming in. So I want to just share the joy. If you're not going to these events and you're missing them, you're missing a great opportunity.
And our Lauren Meadows from our Gator Bay is really behind, does great coverage of those games, too.
Yeah. And if you see the caliber of players coming in there, it's better than anything you're seeing on TV. Just go in there and watch them, banging around on the court. They do a great job. So anyhow, we're all excited. Gator basketball is on the rise. The football program may actually make a huge impact this year. Gator baseball, as we speak, is a little bit down, but they got injuries, and they're gonna get it straightened out.
Softball's going well.
Softball, yeah, we may see national championships in gymnastics, softball, basketball.
Just another national championship.
Yeah, another, and we can count on a national championship in track,
Absolutely.
in field,
That's automatic.
in swimming. So anyhow.
Golf, tennis. Whatever.
So, Buddy Martin it's always good having you on the show. I know you're thrilled to be able to be closely involved with Gator sports after traveling all around the world for most of your life.
Yes.
And being here at Spurrier. So thank you very much for joining us, and we look forward to having you back again.
Thank you, Jeffrey. Appreciate it.
Okay, and that's a wrap for Meldon Law and Friends. Thank you very much for listening, and we'll see you next week.
Meldon Law has been serving personal injury victims since 1971. In those days, Jeffrey Meldon's presence as an attorney in the music scene dubbed him with the nickname the Hippie Attorney. And although times have changed, 2 things haven't: our commitment to bettering our community by helping the injured,
Albert, are you ready to go to the game?
and our love for the Florida Gators.
If you bleed orange and blue, Meldon Law is the firm for you.